So now we're going to move on to our next movie. And Katia, because this is Philadelphia, I'm going to ask you to talk about this, which you've seen. You saw this like 4 years ago.
I saw
Uh,
it TIFF, and
Everybody did,
recently
yes.
I saw it TIFF, and
Concrete
then I
Cowboy.
rewatched it, and
Concrete.
um, and I
Tell us
got to
what
talk
this is about.
to some of the people that were in it, like not the actors. I mean, Caleb, yes, and some of the Fletcher writing, urban writing club, which is what this club is based around. So, Concrete Cowboy is about a boy who is out here wilding out, and his mother has had enough, so she sends him to live with his father. What, unbeknownst to him, his father is involved. He is a real urban cowboy, not John Travolta, but real urban cowboy. He belongs to this club, and through his association with this club, the son starts maturing a bit, and he starts, he takes a couple left turns, but he learns through this club to be more responsible, to be more caring, and they start bonding as father and son. Idris Elba is the father. Caleb McLaughlin is the son. If you don't know who Caleb is, Stranger Things. But I like this movie. It's nothing intense. There's nothing new here. Two things I really like about it, because number one, they really show the club for what it is. Like, too often when it's something like that, Hollywood start inserting itself, and it also helps that the director is from Philadelphia. He was familiar, and he was through the convict program, so he got a good understanding of who the club is. I also like that they used a lot of the supporting actors from the Shout Out to Method Man who stayed getting a check. I mean, his role really didn't make any sense in this, but I'm not mad at him because he stayed getting a check. I do think Jarrell Jerome was a little bit underused. I mean, I don't know why Hollywood can't find work for this young man, like proper work, because he's so talented. So he's like the one iffy thing for me. But again, this is not anything deep. It's not an award-winning film, but I think it's a good father and son movie, and I like all the extra flavors around it. And most importantly, it shows Strawberry Mansion, which is North Philadelphia. It's not the ghetto, it's working class people, and in a good light. And that's always really important, because too often when they show poor Black people, we're shown like refugees during a war. And I'm being polite by saying that.
E-Man,
Yeah.
what's your thoughts?
I mean, I echo a lot of Kathia's sentiments here. Actually, I would say that I think some aspects could be award winning. I mean, for one, I really loved Idris in this. I loved Caleb as well. I thought both of them had some really good delivery in their performances. There were some, I like the father-son tension, the emotional moments. I felt that, even though one minor gripe that I had was probably in the directing. Some of the emotional moments felt a little bit too contrived, like they felt a little too forced. And we had like that what is it, like the Fresh Prince, Will Smith father moment kind of in that sense. But outside of that, I love the authenticity. I love the fact that they brought in, some of the actual, people from the Fletcher group or whatnot. And I mean, this is a story that we don't normally see. We don't see Black cowboys, and to me, it was kind of like a refreshing breath of fresh, it was a breath of fresh air, because I was like, wait a minute, I've seen movies like this before, but I've never cared about them because they never looked like me. They never told a story that I could resonate with, but this one did. And it felt real. It felt authentic. And I was like, yo, I'm sold. So this whole movie, I loved it. I thought it was great. And had a really good time with it. So yeah, thumbs up.
No, I 100% absolutely love this movie. I disagree. We're the critics. We set the tone. We create the narrative. 100% award winning. Like every bit. I mean, this movie was engaging. This movie was different. You never seen anything like it. I love the aesthetic. The aesthetic's new. I mean, show me a movie that explored this particular subject matter before. It hasn't existed. That alone makes it completely compelling. You can never get enough of Black father, Black son dynamic, because you just have not seen that on screen. Like, give me more of that. It felt real. It felt authentic. I liked the writing. No, the direction wasn't perfect, but it worked well enough. I mean, this was a solid film that took me on a journey I had never been on before. And that's why I love movies. That's why I watch movies. Take me someplace different, but still can resonate with my perspective and with the way I grew up. It might not be my same neighborhood, but there's some similarities, but they're doing this little unique thing with the horses and the whole urban aesthetic, and it's staying true, I mean, to their cowboyness. I mean, this film is completely Americana on every single solitary level. This thing blew me away, and sadly, it's probably going to end up in the same category as a Miss Juneteenth or His House, because it just doesn't have that cachet.
Yeah.
But that's where we come into play. No,
Right.
celebrate Concrete Cowboy. My God, the movie was dope.
Yeah.
Well, I'm really glad. All of you guys basically said a lot of stuff that I thought, and I just want to say something on 2 points. One is that everybody talks about how we haven't seen this before from this angle. And what it does for me is it reclaims a culture, a part of our culture that a lot
It's
of
a corrective. It's a corrective.
That a lot of us don't really know.
Yep.
When you talk about us being jockeys of delivering packages, of training horses, of trying to keep that connection to the animal, I was all in just for that. And then you throw in this piece of father and son. This movie was about love, and it was love on so many different levels. It was the love between the father and the son. It was the love of a mother to be able to give up her son because she loved him so much that she didn't want to give up on him, so she gave him up. There was the love on the community of saying, we got to raise our own, this whole thing about each one teach one. And you see that in so many aspects, but particularly as he's learning how to clean those stables. Brothers say, yo, young buck, let me help you. Let me show you.
Takes a village. Takes a village.
Perfect. I love how the dude was like, you need to hit those corners. And
right.
And the other thing too, I just want to say what Reggie said is I moved to Philadelphia for college in 1988. Prior to that Cowboys with the horses is evident not just in North Philly, it's in West Philly. It is not uncommon. Like if you're not used to it and you come to Philly and you see these cowboys in the whole regalia, as Reggie was saying, riding to the city. And at first you're sitting there, you're going, am I in Lancaster? Like, what is happening, right? But then you understand it is part of the culture. There are stables all over. And I do think that what Reggie said is true. We have not had an American Black cowboy story from the West. Modern day, we don't have anything about Black rodeo riders, none of it, jockeys and none of that. So I hope this opens up the door to give us those stories.
There are Black riders in every urban setting. There are Black riders in Kansas City. There are Black riders in St. Louis. There are Black riders in Cleveland. And I love this. And if this movie were directed by Chloe Zhao or Greta Gerwig, man, critics' heads would be exploding on trying to give this movie every single award ever created in the history of time.
Facts. Yeah.
Wow. So this is a definite watch for me. I want to tell you there was emotions there for me as I'm watching it. So I did care, Emmanuel, about these characters. So
and it's humor, you know. I mean, funny to have a horse inside a house. You're like, you are saying to yourself, where is he sleeping? You know, that is hilarious. You know what I mean?
I mean, I felt it. I mean, I felt it. I felt it from beginning to end. I know I'm going to make it my personal mission to not let this movie get lost.
And also, can we also talk about how it's about time? All these little kids from Stranger Things have gotten a plethora of opportunities, and it's nice to see Caleb up front and center and get this opportunity because he's an integral part of that cast. And I'm tired of him being the +1 Black guy. You know what I mean? He's a talented young man. He's a good young man. And let's give him his flowers while he's here. You know what I mean? Like, let's stop having the Black cast member be the sprout of color, you know?
But let's also,
one of the,
go ahead.
I was just gonna say that's one of the main reasons why I wouldn't mind at least the nomination, you know, for him, because this is the first time I've seen him like get out of just that supporting role and actually come through and be like, okay, boom, here are my acting chops. You know, like I can do this too, and I'm sharing the screen with Idris Elba of all people. So the fact that you can maintain my attention while a bigger star is right there on screen with you, you're doing something right. So the young man's got some talent.
But let us not forget, we need to celebrate the versatility of Idris Elba.
Oh, for sure.
Oh, yeah.
Idris doesn't get enough credit. Like he pulled this off. Like Idris is an incredibly talented actor who doesn't get enough credit.
I'm really glad you said that. He pulled it off. And this is an and, not a but. Those people who were authentic writers and part of that community actually helped him with that, because they brought it. I felt those people.
They need to be celebrated the way they celebrated the real life people in Nomadland.
Yes.
People going all goo goo gaga
Same
like
way.
they weren't
Same
actors.
way.
They weren't actors. Oh my God, they weren't actors.
It's the same thing.
It's the
same thing.
Well, we know what it is.
I am so glad.
I'm trying to be good on Good Friday.
I love this. I love my platform too, because I get to talk to y'all about this type of stuff, because those people were good.
Yes.
They weren't 100%. They weren't extras. They were really good. And what they brought to it, you talked about it. You said authenticity. Yeah. Oh man, I knew they weren't being phony.
Right.
And the last thing I want to say on this is that it'd be disingenuous not to say something about Lorraine Toussaint. I really liked her character. I know she didn't get enough screen time, but I like her, and I like her as an actor, and I'm really glad that she was a part of this as well. Go ahead, you guys.
Movie. It's a really, really great movie. Highly recommended.
Yes.
So it's watch it for me, or watch it for Shawn.
Yes.
Definitely a watch. Must watch. Must see.
All right.
If you if you can sit here and love and glorify Nomadland, you better keep that same energy for this.
Well, yeah, it's one of those don't forget about movies. You know, most film critics have short-term memory loss.
Yeah.
So
if it only plays in December.
It's so interesting. So you haven't been here to hear our discussion about the Image Awards as it relates to movies. And if this doesn't show up on the Image Awards, I ain't watching. Man. I'm just telling you.
Okay, well, I'm gonna say this. Let's pray on it. It is Good Friday, as I said before. So maybe, Jesus will intervene and set some things correct over there. Because this definitely is the type of film that should be celebrated at our quote unquote award show. You know what I mean? And so let's pray, since we having reckonings and organization, that there's a little situationship happening over there.
All I'm saying is this. Is that
keep everybody? Our job is to keep everybody.
I know we can't just come for the wine and then look at the foolery over here and be like, "Oh,
exactly."
And all I'm saying is, Concrete Cowboy. Now those are some bad boys, pun intended.
Yes.